The commissioners have been in recess, so they're reconvened, and then so we start tonight with it. We still looking for the minutes from the last meeting, but we'll go ahead with the meeting for time wise. I know we've got some people here who would like to speak in that, so I do want to acknowledge that right now Rob Bush is not here, Mark Manship, and Anita Temple is in Chicago with her daughter. Still having chemotherapy there. With that, go ahead and start with the Chamber of Commerce. Is anybody here for Chamber? Put you on the hot spot first.
Immediately.
It happens, we're used to it.
All right. You would go ahead and speak up your names and who you represent and what you're wanting.
My name is Karen Berry, and I am here representing the Washington County Chamber of Commerce.
And I am Eric Bush. I am the director of the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. One of our board members introduced me to this program and told me that we should apply for a grant, and I did, and here we are today.
All right. You want to go ahead and explain? I know we got it here in the paperwork.
I can't find mine. You got an extra one of those? Cause I can't find mine.
I can make a copy of the way.
That's okay. That's all right.
All right, give us a narrative of what you're working with.
So we just let you guys know that we had some events that were canceled, Friday Night in the Square being one of them. They normally bring in $3,600 net income to the chamber, so that way the chamber can operate and give benefits to its members, help build the economy, and things like that. The office was shut down from mid-March to mid-July, and the previous director was still being employed at that time. But with the restrictions and things like that, she wasn't able to go talk to potential new members, or even work on the AR report, or even communicate with the current members that we currently have. So there were a lot of roadblocks for us. And it seemed like we have lost some money in that. So for instance, $3,600 for the not being able to have a Friday Night at the Square. And then there's an estimated potential for new members of $950, and then the AR report that is still outstanding for $1,960.
We also, as Eric pointed out, during the time period, we did not cancel anyone who was unable to pay the membership dues. We've carried that forward. So we lost potential things there. There were some things that we had planned in the process that we didn't know exact amounts of income that we could receive, so that's been included as well. I don't have my glasses on, but I think you covered everything on the list, yes.
What's the exact amount on that you're asking for?
You'll have to say there if I can
We
see
didn't
it.
really put down exact amounts. I wasn't sure exactly how to do this.
Just total them together for me if you don't care.
Sure. Roughly about $6,000.
Thank you.
You said on the membership dues, what was the difference between pre-COVID to COVID?
We don't have that information. We are just estimating that the potential new members, a loss since the director couldn't go out and talk to potential new members, about $950.
Yeah. Then 3,600 is the general revenue for the Friday night?
Right.
Square? All right. Okay.
This is for the 2020 year only, for Friday night on Square?
Yes,
2021, we actually have the other.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
yes.
Okay.
How well did you do in 2021?
We grossed more than $3,600.
It was
You
significant,
had to come back.
right, it was significantly more than that in 2021.
We had a lot of different sponsorship opportunities. We included a kid zone with like race cars and things like that. And we brought back the rock wall and included that into the kid zone, and created an opportunity for the YMCA to actually make some money as well, selling wristbands for the children to play on the obstacle courses.
So you told me that $950 was the reduction in membership, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, then the extra $1,000 that you're talking about is paid potential membership.
The 950 would be the potential membership, correct? And then the 1,960 was when I came in, we had an AR report where a lot of members have not paid, and then they were not dropped due to not being able to pay.
So actually, alright, I'm trying to, some of the stipulations we got are losses contributed just to COVID.
Right.
So I'm trying to get that in.
So what you're asking, the potential loss is the 1,960.
The 1,960 was not paid due
Right,
to.
that's what he's referring to
Yes.
as the loss. So it's the 1,960 is the loss of revenue. The 950 would be the potential income that we were unable to access.
Alright.
Does that clarify that?
Yeah, it is, and those are the type of figures we gotta have categorized for time. It doesn't matter what it is, cause it's all COVID related and stuff. Alright, unfortunately, we don't have a quorum in there, so we're taking this all in advisement in that, so, thank you for relaying those figures in there. Any more questions from the commissioners?
Would you like a copy of this?
I would.
Okay.
I would too, cause I'm not, I think I've got it, but,
Kyra went to get copies.
oh, she did, okay.
Thank you. You guys have any further questions?
No, that's all
I don't have any
I just want-
questions.
I just want to remind you that the main thing is you look at 2019, what the ARP plan calls the benchmark year. That's real important because that's what they're basing everything off of. And then, it sounds like you made a big comeback in 2021, so you didn't lose money, but you definitely saw a loss in 2020. So the only thing I might caution you about is kind of speculating on potential losses. That's where, when the Baker Tilly firm looks at that, they might kind of plan on that a little bit.
Well, I don't think we can even, take the potential loss.
I mean, there's too
We
many.
have to work with the actual losses between years, and work with what's history and what the, 20 or 21 actually did for COVID, and we'll look at the year behind it.
Okay.
So we'll work with the difference, in that, so that we can kind of categorize what impact COVID had. So that's the only figure we can use. All right,
Thank you.
we got it right here.
Thank you
guys
very
for
much,
having
guys.
us.
Thank you.
You guys have a great day.
Martinsburg Lions Club, representative.
Who's your speaker out there? Brenda? Linda? Roy?
This is news to me.
You were drafted.
I didn't recognize him, and he got one pissed off at me.
Hey, let me tell you.
About that.
You don't wanna do that to him.
No, because I really, Anthony told me I didn't recognize it.
He's turned younger.
That's the only compliment you're gonna get tonight, Roy.
Oh, okay. Well, Martinsburg Lions Club has been trying to do a lot of work in the community. We've done a lot of work over at the Eastern Elementary for kindergartners and providing that, testing and so forth. We try to clean up the roadways and help anybody that needs help. As I said, I wasn't prepared for this. I had no idea what
You're okay, right?
But, as everyone else was affected by the COVID, so was our club. And, we have a couple of big, what we consider big events to, raise money so the club can survive. And, one of those is having a chicken dinner. And we feel like we've, based upon what we had done in the past, of course, to make that work out okay, we would set a figure of how many chicken dinners we was gonna sell. And based upon those prices, we do that each year. And that would figure out to approximately $1,500 profit after we did everything for each of those years. We also had yard sales that we wasn't able to do. And, I don't know if we have any kind of a price on what those yard sales, do you expect me to read that?
No, we didn't even put that in.
No, we didn't even put that in. We had, cookie sales at, Christmas time, which we wasn't able to do because we fill our, building up with cookies and candy. And that was a very nice money maker for us. And did you put that in there?
No,
Okay.
we were just going for the chicken dinner, the chicken barbecue, because that was something that we do to raise money for a scholarship at school at Eastern. And we weren't able to do one. We didn't do one last year, I don't believe, because our funds had depleted. But, like I said, we're just trying to replenish our numbers so that we can do that.
So are you missing one fundraiser or two?
We missed 2 chicken barbecues.
All right. And they're estimated between 1,000 and 1,500 of revenue, correct?
They have, maintained the same amount each year as to, you need to order the chicken ahead. And, we do the same amount each year, and when it's gone, it's gone.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit more about what you do with the elementary and some of the other things that you do.
We do the eye testing over for the pre-kindergartners.
Okay.
We've done it for several years. And of course, with all this COVID, we wasn't able to do that. And then we also do a $500 scholarship fund for Eastern, and we have Greg Hopkins, who's very instrumental in that. And then we also have a board that sets up after he gives us his input to see who would be most deserving of it and what kind of effect these children, I guess I should say, have upon the community. And we're hopeful that they become more involved in Lionism. That you may or may not know, it's probably the most volunteer one in the world as far as things they do.
Okay. Let me ask a question to the commissioners. Have you exercised anything from the last meeting in there on the Rotary and some of those other nonprofits?
We've offered the 2 different ones. I think the chamber showed up tonight, and then there's also another group coming.
No, we took action. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
have you taken action?
Yes.
Master Gardeners, Rotary, and. Deacon Betterman.
I did review the video. Since I was late.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Point taken.
I'd like to add, David. Can I talk?
Sure.
This club started 9 years ago, 8, 12,
12, 13, something.
back when I was young,
It's longer
That's
than
not a
that.
stretch.
and every bit of the money that they raise, 100% of it is given away back to the community. They're only touching part of what they've done. Excuse me. I belong there. But it's not any profit to every one of them. In fact, it costs every one of them to be a member. And they give wholeheartedly to the community and cleaned up a part of the town. It started as a drug house. We got it from the bank and we're buying it, and it's been a hard struggle. They're asking to recoup some for the scholarships, but they're well deserving of more than that.
Well, we don't have an end figure here, well, but you gotta believe the $3,000, the way I looked at it, that'll just take care of your barbecue fundraisers. So,
Could I make a suggestion?
yeah, Will, you guys are the head friends here.
If you don't mind, in all fairness to you, could you tweak your numbers a little bit and go ahead and tell us, document what your losses were on these other things that you hadn't mentioned? Because, you're certainly, you qualify, and, it's organizations like you that keep communities going, and, I'd like to see you maximize your dollars so you can recoup the funds that you lost, and not just some of them. Because that's what we've been doing with the other groups. It was just pretty cut and dried. Once again, they looked at 2019, compared 2020 and 21, using 2019 as a benchmark year, and compare 2020 to that, and 2021 to that, and you add up the numbers, and that's what we've been doing with the other nonprofits. Is that right?
Well, yes, and that's the reason I referred back to those other nonprofits in there to do the same thing with you.
So, can we go home and do that?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yes.
go home,
Okay.
come back.
Just like you mentioned in your cookie sale,
Right.
you need to
Yeah.
put that in there.
And it sounds like your cohort decided he's got a lot of figures in mind of different fundraisers, so he could help you get you to reach your figures
Like I
and
said,
stuff.
we didn't wanna,
Yeah.
we didn't want to come in and ask for the moon, because we know you guys have a lot of people to give money to, but, but we would be happy to give you more information, because.
Well, unfortunately, the county budget, as far as some funds in there, being passed to council, council, we're not able to do with groups like you that make an impact on people prior to them, getting into their things and stuff. So it's, whenever we've got an opportunity in that, I think that we'd like to exercise it. So we'll give you the opportunity to tweak your figures and look a little bit more as far as those things that you do as fundraising and what you contribute to. So if you could elaborate on other things that you do as far as the community level, please share that with us.
Thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, moving right along, Posey Township Water, Brian?
Roy, the next meeting is May 3rd, 6 o'clock here. May 3rd.
This,
I'm Paul Boyd, I'm on the board of Posing Water. The guy with the good legs is Ryan. He's our number one operator. And he's passed out the facts about our water system. And you give him this.
yeah, they've already got that.
And the quotation there is the bid, the lowest bid we've got for the repairs we're gonna have to do to the booster station. In order to keep water flowing to everybody, we gotta do this. This was the last one.
This is the last one.
This is the last one, we've done the other three. And, this summer we got to do a tank that we think we can afford, but we're needing money for this pumping station at Fredericksburg.
All right, you've given us a quotation here on, I have a pump with some,
Yeah, that,
and a valve,
yeah,
a brake valve, and there, some engineering drawings in that, so, you got items A through D, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Total cost of $35,262.
yeah, that's what we got.
Okay, what kind of impact will this have on number of clients, this particular pump and valve?
By going with what we have right now, we're running about 120 gallons per minute. If we go in, remove the piping, if the piping sandblast it back to the original ID with the, being able, with more efficient pumps and motors, as you can see on there, we go 200 gallons a minute. But what happens with our system, because we don't run off pumps, we run off elevation only, the higher we keep, especially in the Fredericksburg tank, that's 40% of our Washington County customers, which is our largest section of customers. As you go from Fredericksburg up to Beck's Mill, as we come here behind Salem, that's our highest elevation, and that's our lowest point of pressure that we have for our whole system. So as that Fredericksburg tank dips, as water does gravity, as we lose as the tank falls in the normal cycles of the day, we lose pressure up, especially Beck's Mill roads are worse. We average about 40 to 45 pounds PSI. And that's where we have our majority of our turkey houses, chicken houses, and that's why we're wanting to go with, to upgrade the bigger pumps and motors.
Do you know how many Washington County customers you have?
We have 1,542 total. I think about 1,100 would get us pretty close.
Okay. What percentage, you talked about the livestock operation, what percentage of your water is residential and compared to, farm?
We have 12 different poultry houses then each one discount for the biggest majority has 4 meters, Rippies and Joey Bulls, but most of it's all just regular household.
Okay,
They're just all mixed in together.
all right,
Fredericksburg tank, as our tanks come, because we start from Paoli, as we purchase, when we combine with Patoka water, our tanks fill coming from Patoka all the way to Fredericksburg. And what happens, as you come from, we have 4 tanks. When you get to Fredericksburg ends up feeding our 40% of all of our customers as the tanks come down through. Now, we do have another tank in Beck's Mill, but it only supplies one small area with less than 100 customers on it right now.
so you're not asking for any more tank capacities, you're just talking about as far as as, removing some existing and repairing some existing pumps and replacing some valves.
Also the pit. We have, steel underground pits,
Okay.
and, all of them are over 20 years old. The last two, we went in, sandblasting epoxies. By catching them now, we go ahead and, like we have done with the other ones, based on what the information we've gotten from the people who have done it, should save us another 20 years within pits without having to replace them, pull them out, and put new ones in. And we priced the pit last year. All of our underground boosters are the same size. The cost last year was about $150,000 to replace that pit with all new stuff in it. By us doing this, and then going ahead and upgrading the pumps and motors, we can put more water in the system, into the tank, that keeps the system flowing. And it's our catch-up time is where it's crucial for us, especially in the summertime, with the amount of customers we have on that tank.
All right. Is there any long-term objective as to look at another storage tank?
Right now, with what we have, we keep up pretty well. I mean, I don't, as far as the area goes, it will be as the county grows. We have some concerns, the Roseville area, but, where we talked about a line extension there. That is one thing. I have priced a line extension there. It would pick up a few customers. Being that we are a co-op and not a municipality, we work, with our customers owning us, and us not getting the grants and funds, and when we do it all ourselves without, this is our first time that we've even applied for anything like this, that we can get, we base everything within 10 customers within a mile. If we have 10 customers within a mile, then we can do extensions on our lines. That's one thing we're looking at in the Rosebud area. Now, getting enough people concerned to do it has been our, we've tried this twice now. You guys are aware of the last one we did, and where we just didn't get we gotta have the customers gonna be there with us, because we're the ones who'll be supporting the bill. Now, as far as this coming down here, this is just something that would really, we'll do this one way or the other. We'll do it if the Lord said we'd like to come to you, because it would help us out, and never do other things.
We've not raised our water bill, or our water prices for years that we get. Dakota Lake raises theirs every year, a few cents, and we have to pass that on. But we've not raised what we get. We have to give the same price for water that they do, that the rest of the customers do. We don't wanna raise the price of the water if we don't have to.
Sherry, do you remember what percentage we did with,
It was a 50% match. That's what they had in town in New Pekin do. So, yeah. If you got that 50%, do you have the 50% to come up with?
Yes.
our discussion, that's where I'm kind of leaning toward is, the same that we did with Pekin in there.
And you know how I feel about utilities, I think that's top of the line, number one. We've talked about.
It hits the
it's-
definition.
I mean, that was,
Point blank on the definition.
when we started, that was the number one thing that we was gonna give money out for, was utilities, water, sewer.
And what I would suggest for you, if you've got underserved, parts in that, we're only in the first stage of this, and we got another year of this to go in there, so there's additional funds, the same amount as the first year. So if you've got some line extensions to pick up some underserved customers, I'd really reiterate, for you to exercise that and go back and beat the drum a little bit more.
Besides Washington County, what counties?
Orange.
Orange. Okay.
All right, discussion wise, and there was nothing but a vote here and there. I think our discussion is kind of leaning toward, same as what we're doing with Pekin.
Let me ask you this. With these numbers here, how long are they good for, Paul? They give you
won't change, it'll be the,
Right.
as everything else has.
We're probably looking at 2 months before we get our next draw.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that
we're
being the
looking-
case. Huh?
If you know that,
Maybe.
if you know that you're gonna get that, is there a way with your budget that you could possibly, reimburse yourself once you get those funds? To keep this,
We can pay for it. And like I said, if you guys will, I mean, if you can.
whatever you get,
That would be,
okay.
that'd be all right.
Yeah, it's gonna,
Yeah.
it's gonna throw us a little.
I mean, ultimately, the full decision goes to the commissioner. We're just making a recommendation, but we're trying to work this group as a forum in there for our vote to move. So we're actually talking as individuals from past things that we've done with other water, that I think that it'll be very applicable. The thing about it is, your proposal hits dead on with the definitions here and stuff. So
We've got the money to pay for the tank, to do the tank. But we can hold off on the tank and go ahead and do this, and take the money we have for the tank to pay for this.
all right.
So
That's our discussion in here is, you know, what we got. The card, do you have any figure of what we got on leftover figures?
If we had to pay everything that we've obligated so far, we'd still have about 92,000 left.
So,
I wanna say that I'm actually really glad to see you guys here tonight. Because, like I said, when we started out, water was number one, okay? And it just seems like we've had, 2 others besides yourself. So it's good to see you here tonight, asking for help for this, cause this is very important for our county, for the entire county. People will benefit from this, hopefully for years.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you.
you guys can act on your own.
I really think due to the inflation and being we have now, it's moving some around, but I think we should go ahead and move on it.
Yeah, I think we ought to try to help them out. I want to say one thing, I know we gave East Washington water, which I was involved with that several years, and they were very grateful. It was a big chunk of money. We also gave Keaton a big chunk of money. I'm talking about, East Washington's was darn near $500,000. Egan's was what, 147, is that right? 150? I know you have wanted to stick with this 50% thing, and I think that's a guideline. I don't want to necessarily, don't mean to break with tradition, but when we're talking about, we're talking $35,000 here. And, I know that's a lot of money to them. They're a very small utility, and, they have to buy their water. They're at the mercy of Patoka. They have no control. What they pay for water, it's no different than a farmer, you know. You have no control over how much you have to pay for fertilizer. So, their ability to raise funds, is just like Mr. Boyle said, we don't wanna raise rates, be raising them on myself. It's like sticking your arm out and biting yourself. So, in this case, I personally like to see if we fund the total amount, based on the small amount of money that it is in comparison with the other water utilities in our county.
So you make a motion to go ahead and accept the $35,262.
Yes, I do.
Second.
Rick, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Hey, thank you so much,
Thank you.
I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
We'll have the check for you the 19th.
Okay, all right, just let me know if you guys so much, now.
It's nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Dave.
All right. Okay, livestock producers.
No. She looks kinda lonely sitting back there.
Oh, there's Danielle.
I have those.
We got one.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So I'm Danielle Walker. I'm the Ag and Natural Resources Extension Educator here in Washington County for Purdue Extension, and I'm here tonight representing 3 of our livestock producer groups. And I kind of serve as an advisor. That's what they would call me for those 3 groups. And so put together a proposal, worked with each one of the groups that wanted to participate. In looking at what their income would have been, or what their income was in 2019 and compared it to what it would have been, or what it was with COVID. And so each one of the producer groups that wanted to participate is listed individually based upon their individual incomes from 2019 and COVID time. And then in addition, during that time, they also lost the use of a refrigerator at the fairgrounds, which is one of the locations where they make a lot of their fundraising efforts. And so I added that in as kind of my discretion, that I know that that needs to be purchased quickly, as the fair is set to be at the 3rd week of June. So, and there are other events coming up even earlier than that. So that is where those numbers originate.
Okay.
I would like to add to that, if I may. She has the cost of a industrial type. It's not, that is not used exclusively for those 3 groups. There's many other groups that use it
Right.
throughout the year. And it's
Yeah,
a
those are,
pretty big thing.
those are
It's
just
a health and safety issue to have this.
correct. And it has been, they've looked at repairing it, they've looked at lots of different options, and it just feels like the best option for long-term sustainability and a wise investment to just replace it at this point.
I think it's pretty old.
Yeah, I don't remember it, so.
I think it was purchased used to begin with.
Correct,
I might have a serial number with my birthday on it.
right.
Possibly.
Yeah, so, these groups, they were very surprised when I asked them if they wanted to participate. They weren't sure they would qualify, and they're just the kind of groups that just do what they do and keep on pushing through. They do appreciate that, and I'm just here as the spokesperson, because some of them don't like to talk very much.
Well, it's the same,
Yeah.
we sit here and listen to the Martinsburg, they don't want us to do the road market.
Right.
These groups here, they're all nonprofits, they give back
Mhm.
almost 100% to 4-H kids and other things through the community, and it's just.
That was one of the things that I listed at the end, was that even though their income is reduced, they were still providing 4-H sponsorship at the full level that they were beforehand. Before COVID, they were providing scholarships at the same levels as they were before. They weren't gonna let their reduced income keep them from doing the things that support others, especially the youth. And, they just figure it out, make it up some way.
Well, for one, the fair is a community, thing as far as, entertainment and well-being, as far as the mental health of people to actually get out and socialize and that, and I think we don't after we have been through the last 2 years, we see how much we need that as a society. And so, I do know with these organizations that they do scholarships, contribute to scholarships and other functions in there throughout. So, health and safety with the refrigerator, that's long overdue. That's long overdue. There's been some issues in there as far as keeping that thing going. And so, Sherry, you got any comments?
I don't. I appreciate you coming. I think because we don't have a quorum, we're just gonna.
We're just talking in verbiage here and kind of relaying it to the commissioners because it is their decisions in there. I would, you do have a timetable coming up with the fair coming up. And so you've got a refrigeration unit that is out in there. So the timing is of the essence to probably get that taken care of. So we just spent 35 and that, so we're around 60,000.
Due to another commitment that we've got that won't be due for several months, we can do this and I'll make the motion that we go ahead and fund this.
The entire thing?
Yes.
It's 20,000. I'll second that.
Ricky's made a motion, or Todd made a motion, Rick second, all in favor, the other one. All in favor, say aye.
Thank you guys so much. I'm actually headed to the Goat Association's Board of Director meeting that starts at 7, so they will be very excited. And I've had a cattleman request that I text as soon as I leave, so he'll be very happy. And I live with the sheep treasurer, so I'll be informed later. He'll be the last to know. That's how it works, right?
Yes.
So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we want to go back to any the other ones that we have had, and any more discussion in there.
We had stated about that Jackson County going to the fairgrounds.
The broadband.
The broadband.
Yeah, they talked to CSX, we wouldn't have to do a board of 60,000. So what they're proposing, Jackson County's proposing, going out Market Street, down the hill, and then get to the bridge, and then it's gonna go up, over, and back down. But as far as the bore underneath, we'll be looking at that. all right,
That was the $60,000.
And that was a 60.
all right,
It would be a reduction.
all right.
It'll be a total price of $65,495.28 when it gets there.
65 what?
$65,495.28. And that takes it to the fairgrounds, picking up the east side of the town.
All right. Okay,
Did they ever say how many customers, other than the fairgrounds, that they were gonna be able to pick up?
Generator back in there.
Yeah.
Uh,
That'd have been 30 or 40 at least.
There's a map, I don't know if they tell me that.
I knew it was gonna be several.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is actually helping, it's a direct line to get to the jail, justice, and ambulance, which will give us better service up that way.
I mean, we still got, the lady. I mean, that guy's still really, really first one. That was for the, and we got fair board.
Well-
And that,
yeah, this is dealing with payroll.
yeah, I don't.
discuss a little bit more about the fair, a little bit, we can stand at that. I mean, have you heard any more about the proposal? You know, as far as our lost revenue from fairgrounds, yeah.
I
It
haven't
was-
heard anything. I
it was-
thought-
85,000.
Well, those numbers won't change, I mean, they are what they are, it's just a matter of whether you wanna, whether you want to dump them or not.
But-
Actually,
Like somebody mentioned a while ago, those were estimate numbers. From what I remember, they wasn't hardcore facts, were they? They were saying, you know,
I don't know, I just got what they sent, so I don't know.
well, that's the last one I've seen.
Yeah. Let's see. I think this one right here is, this one is the very oldest one we have.
Okay,
That's the only one.
she's,
No,
got
I'm talking
intervened
about
the Delaney.
Delaney,
Oh,
that was the very first one we received, and we've still not done anything with it.
All right, and we have fairgrounds,
Show.
yeah, fairgrounds is right behind for you,
Yeah.
there on my part.
And then you got Cornerstone.
I can't remember. They may have been.
What he done it 1 year to fair.
Do what now?
Whole fair postponed or just parts of it,
yeah, and the whole fair was
The
canceled.
whole fair was
2020.
canceled.
There was no
and
fair.
then the next year they done partial.
1 year they brought like the livestock come in, showed, they loaded them
That
up and
was,
left.
that was 21.
That was 21, okay.
Yeah,
The 20 was totally canceled.
Everything was canceled.
Yeah, we had a full fair,
Yeah.
20.
20.
not in 20.
20 was a partial and 19, I don't know. That's not adding
It
up.
was partial in 20, we had the fair last year, we would have it 19. I think they just showed animals.
20, they brought the animals in to show and then they left.
That's all they did. That's
Yeah.
right.
There was no,
Yeah.
nothing else.
So 19, was it, 19 was the fair, was totally going?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we had a partial show, 20, and then 21 was brought back.
Do you have that in front? I know.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've got the,
That's not an estimate.
Well, that is not, I seen a different document.
Oh, okay.
For the statement I made,
Okay.
and that looks like they
Yeah.
tweaked it to where it's,
These events did not take place. Therefore, they are a loss of income, and that's net loss.
yeah, I've got it here, ground rental of $10,000 is some of the big ticket items. Brady amusement, 24,000. Demo spring, 8,000. Demo fair, 8,000. Truck pull, 6,000. Fair booth income, 6,700. Then some of the other ones are, rodeo, 3350. It comes up to a total of 85,525 is what they show as merchants fair loss code, R/T. That was 2020.
compared to 19's
Yeah, that's what everybody
income.
is instructed to do.
Yes.
So one question I had is, to secure, they weren't held to the security of Brady amusement for any expenses, were they?
I don't think so. No, because, I'd say under normal circumstances, they would have, they didn't fulfill their contract, but since it's COVID, Brady waived that, from my understanding, because that question was asked, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I do remember that.
The yearly building rental of 2020, they claimed they lost $3,600. Now, why would that have been?
Well, people didn't have auctions and yards. You know, there's a lot of businesses, or a lot of individuals that take their stuff up there and have yard sales and things up there. And, believe it or not, old Randy Lee stays pretty busy keeping that place rented year round, really. Well, he doesn't do it in the dead of winter because they have to turn the gas off, but just like this time of the year, he keeps that,
Looks like that lawn and garden show
yeah,
that Leader puts on.
yeah.
That's a big draw.
Well, I haven't heard anything else of it. We're just going through some old ones that have been in there.
Had some livestock sales up there. No, that'd be building rental.
Okay.
Yeah, that's throughout the year. Tractor pulls and Thunder Valley. Yeah, that's what it is.
All right, any more discussion on that? And, I wanted you to review that, okay? It's, because it's coming up, I haven't heard anything else out of it. It's an old document from last fall. Okay. All right, Delaney Creek Park is another one that's, been tabled in that. They showed a revenue loss of $19,688.16. Has anybody heard anything about what their revenue from your meetings, 21 and 22?
My understanding was 21, they bounced back with a vengeance and, had a pretty good year. You know, just from the simple, fact that people were so tired of being cooped up, you know, they want to get out and recreation type things, you know.
All right, is there anything in health and safety that could be established in there to the park to make it,
Fresh air and sunshine.
well, I know that, but is there something else that, could, appease back any disease, COVID-19 prevention type of things? Or are their facilities pretty well up to standard? Because I know it's a campground, those type of things, but there's nothing proposed in there. I'm trying to say if there was anything, I think their bounce back in revenue for lost revenue has more than captured itself in itself.
Yeah, I don't know what their numbers were like.
All right,
I know they
well,
did pretty good in 21, but they still suffered a loss in 20.
throw back a note back to the park board, to give us an update with their current figures in that, especially what they did 21, what they projected, and then also note if there's anything that could be implemented to help with any type of disease-related transmissions and those types of things.
I do know that they redone a bunch of the cabins down there,
Okay,
reworked them, or the interior things, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they don't let their money sit around and get moldy. Of course, there's always maintenance issues down there because, you know, it's taking care of a bill, it's no different than taking care of a house. Some of them aren't that new, and there's lots of maintenance, and they do try to keep them up and, you know, keep the mold out of them and all that.
my challenge is if they got something from the health department or state that they're asking to do up and above because of COVID, you know, in that, to relay those projects to us. I see that's the best way we can help it out. That way it's something that's ongoing. And it would hit within the parameters of the program too.
Right.
All right?
I would agree with
Yeah,
that.
we can certainly ask them, yeah.
All right. What else you got, Sherry?
We still got one in there from Cornerstone.
Okay.
That was one of the first ones as well. But we don't have to talk about these, David, since there's only the two of us. I mean, we can.
And there was one, from,
MPP.
where the funeral home on the cooler, something, wasn't there
A lift.
a lift?
That keeps coming up, but we keep shutting it down. I don't know which way you guys wanna go with that, cause we talked about it in the beginning, because it was a personal business or something, right, David? Yeah.
Cause I know the discussion in there, then we'd, have to make it available to the other funeral homes too.
Correct.
Well, it's available. You have to apply for it.
Right. All right, the, one that come back from the, with the MPP at Campbellsburg, that was a cleaner that proposed this, wasn't it? What was her? Paul Cook is the senior director of operations in there that signed the letter, but I think that, what was her first name?
Sure.
Sherry,
Sherry?
Sherry Fleer.
They got direct COVID expenses of $27,155. You wanna hold off on those type of things and talk about them later, cause we're getting kinda close on the funds. You know, here at the end, till we get our next draw.
I think we ought to wait till our next draw.
Okay,
Yeah, but
And I'd like to add a little bit to that. It may come to a point where we've got this money left over, we're gonna need or want to start out after we've taken care of the nonprofits and so on and so forth.
I agree with that. I think that we're gonna end up with a pool to work with to go ahead and accommodate some of the other things.
Like we've stated all along, we need to take care of what our goals were to begin with, and then if we do have.
Well, this with, the water group in there, and with Salem, and, with, Pekin, and with in there as far as getting these underserved, people on water seems like it just we just keep pushing, you know, in there, but there's not much reaction to it and stuff. Maybe they'll take this note, you know, to the Rosebud area and stuff and look at those. I know we still got Washington, township water system with people out on Table Road in that direction, past the airport. We've got the 50 people in signatures. It's still on the open too. So now I would like to, some of this money, I don't know how much of it's already been implemented. But I'd like to have a challenge to get, if somebody has got something complete that they've used that money for, and have some pictures, figures, or something to bring back, and we'll just schedule them in, maybe one or two at a time, and they're just to report how the funds are being spent, what they've used it for. I think that'll help on our report as far as that we have to do for accounts too.
We do have one report that's got to be done at the end of this month. To turn in.
All right, so Carl, my question is, out of all those that we've done proposal, how many is outstanding, haven't been distributed, and how much money has been put out?
We've probably got 4 or 5 that hasn't called or asked about it, so we haven't written a check yet.
Okay,
The rest, yeah, we gave out, we make them sign a paper, who they're with, and everything, so that I've got documentation who picked it up.
all right. For the next meeting, we could have that report of actual fiscal money that's been allocated out, what's outstanding that hasn't been, and then remaining. We can have those 3 figures. So, I don't have anything else. Do you, Sherry? All right. With that, we're gonna close.
Thank you.
I make a motion
Adjourn.
to adjourn.
Bruce made a motion.
Second.
Don second, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Okay.